Hello, welcome to Zigmatech Learning Hub. I'll be your instructor for biology. For this class, we are going to be taking our exercises from the Examguide app. Now, if you don't already have this installed in your device, I would like you to download the app in order to follow along in this class. Now, Examguide is a leading educational app that helps students prepare adequately for various exams. Exams such as the UTME, the post-UTME, WEAC, GCE, IJMB, KCPE, JUPEB, CARBOHYDRATES. In the junior sections, we also have the BECE, we have the SSCE, and so much more. Now, you can download the app from www.examguide.com or you visit the Google Play Store to download. Now, please subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell to update yourselves on new videos that will be coming up. Now, if you're ready for this class, let's get started. Today, we're going to be looking at animal nutrition. Animal nutrition. Though in our previous classes, we have highlighted a little on animal nutrition, or basically on nutrition. But today we're going to be looking at animal nutrition. Now, before we commence in this particular topic, there are several objectives I have concerning you, the listeners or viewers. At the end of this class, you should be able to mention the classes of food, their importance, and their sources. Number two, you should be able to define balanced diet and mention their importance. Number three, you should be able to define dentition and mention the types of dentition. Number four, you should be able to describe the structure of the tooth, mostly the mammalian tooth. And number five, you should be able to tell us or tell the types of teeth in mammals. And number six, you should be able to explain what we call the carnassial teeth, even describe it, or describe the carnassial teeth and the diastema that is usually found in dentition or in the dentition of mammals. And then number seven, you should be able to define enzymes and mention the types of enzymes. And then finally, you should be able to mention some characteristics of enzymes. So these are the things we're going to be looking at. So we'll try as much as possible to see how we can exhaust everything we need to know about animal nutrition. Now, please take note, this does not include digestion process. Digestion process will come under the topic digestive system. So this has to do with everything about an aspect of nutrition. Now, if you are set, let's begin. Now, before I go deep into this, I still want to recall your mind back to the definition of nutrition. Remember, we define nutrition as the process by which living organisms obtain nutrients. And this nutrition, we divided them into two main types. We said we have autotrophic nutrition, and then we have heterotrophic nutrition. We said autotrophic nutrition, living organisms are able to manufacture their own food, and we looked at two different types. We talked about photosynthetic and then chemosynthetic. But in terms of heterotrophic nutrition, we said living organisms can't manufacture their own food. They depend on other organisms for food. And we looked at about four types. We said we have what we call holozoic. We talked about saprophytic nutrition. We talked about parasitic nutrition. And then we talked about symbiotic nutrition. Now, in this aspect of nutrition, I want to make a little adjustment in terms of heterotrophic nutrition. Now, in heterotrophic nutrition, we will be mainly looking at holozoic nutrition. In other words, I can say that holozoic nutrition can otherwise be called animal nutrition, okay? Because majorly what we're going to be discussing is all about holozoic nutrition. And in this case, we can say that based on holozoic nutrition, animals can be classified into three main groups based on the type of food they eat. Based on the type of food they eat. Now, we have what we call herbivorous animals, we have carnivorous animals, and then we have omnivorous animals. I repeat, we have herbivorous, carnivorous, and then omnivorous animals. Now, herbivorous animals are animals that feed on plants only. They feed on plants only and directly. Now, examples include the ruminant animals like the cow, the sheep, the goats, the horse, and so on. These are these are herbivorous animals, the rabbits. They feed only on plants. And then we have number two, the second type of animals, Holozoic animals, based on the type of food they eat, is the carnivorous animals. The carnivorous animals, they feed only on flesh, on other animals. They feed on animals, not on plants. Okay, examples of these animals include things like the dogs, we have the lions, we have the tiger, we have the leopard, we have the cheetah, and so on. They feed on other animals. And then number three is the omnivorous animals. Omnivorous animals are animals that feed on both plants and animals. An example is humans, which is man. We have the rats, and so many other examples of mammals that feed on both plants and animals. Now, before we continue, as we continue this, we're going to see more issues concerning animals. Now, food. In our discussion, when we were looking at the classes of animals based on the type of food they eat. So what then is food? Now, we can say food can be defined as any substance or material which, when eaten by other animals, which when eaten supplies nutrients. They supply nutrients, and these nutrients are actually required for healthy growth and development. They provide energy and also help repair worn-out tissues of the body. That is what food does. I repeat again, food are substances or materials which, when eaten by animals, supplies nutrients. And the purpose for these nutrients is to for healthy growth and development. It is also to repair worn-out tissues of the body, for the production or synthesis of hormones and enzymes, also for provision of what? Energy. Now, these food substances can be classified into several groups. Now, we call these the classes of food. Now, basically, we have about 7 classes of food and not 6. So we will be looking at 7 classes of food. Now, let's start up with the first one. The first class of food we're going to be looking at is carbohydrates. Carbohydrates. Now, carbohydrate, the simplest form of carbohydrate that can be that can be absorbed or utilized by the cells is the glucose. Okay, we'll still be discussing more about it much more later. But understand this, that carbohydrates are made up of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. Carbohydrates are made up of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. Of course, you should be able to tell me sources or examples of foods that are rich in carbohydrates. We have examples like the bread. You can see them on the screen. We have the bread, we have the rice, we have the yam, we have the maize, we have cassava, and so many other foods that are rich in carbohydrates. Now, having gotten that, let's look at the types of carbohydrates. Types of carbohydrates. Now, we have basically 3 types of carbohydrates. 3 types. Now, we have the first one, which is called monosaccharides. Monosaccharides. We have the second called disaccharides. And we have the third called polysaccharides. I repeat, monosaccharides, disaccharides, polysaccharides. Now, let's discuss about monosaccharides. As the name implies, mono, single or one, okay? So these are carbohydrates that possess only 1 unit of simple sugar. They are carbohydrates that possess only 1 unit of simple sugar. 1 unit of simple sugar. Okay? Another name for monosaccharides are called simple sugars. They are simple sugars. Like I said before, they are the simplest form of sugar that can be used by the cells. They can be used by the cells. Disaccharides can be used. Polysaccharides can be used directly by the cells. They have to undergo digestion process or breaking down processes. But monosaccharides are the simplest form that can be absorbed or utilized by cells. Okay, now their general formula is mostly for glucose is C6H12O6. C6H12O6. Now examples of examples of monosaccharides, we have glucose, we have fructose, and then we have galactose. I repeat, examples of monosaccharides, we have glucose, we have fructose, and we have galactose, okay? Number 2 type of carbohydrates we said is disaccharides. Another name for disaccharides is called reducing sugars. They are called reducing sugars. Now, the reason why they are called disaccharides is because they are made up of 2 units of simple sugar. Made up of 2 units of simple sugar. Remember, we talked about monosaccharides. We said mono talks about 1, so they are made up of just 1 unit. Di or bi talks about 2. They are made up of 2 units of simple sugar. Now, a general formula for them, we have it as C12H22O11. C12H22O11. Now, examples of disaccharides or reducing sugars include, we have sucrose, we have maltose, and we have lactose. Sucrose rather is gotten mostly from sugarcane, okay? It's gotten from plants. Lactose are mainly gotten from milk, and maltose are mainly gotten from malt drinks or malt plants, and so on. Then number 3, we have polysaccharides. The word poly means many, okay? So it is a type of carbohydrate that is made up of more than 2 units of what? Simple sugar, more than 2 units of simple sugars. Monosaccharides, 1 unit, disaccharides, 2 units, and then polysaccharides, more than 2 units of simple sugars, okay? Now, examples of polysaccharides, we have things like the glycogen, we have starch, we have cellulose, we have chitin, and so many others. These are examples of carbohydrates. Now, what are the importance of carbohydrates? Since it is a type of nutrient, it is a nutrient. What are the importance of carbohydrate? I'm just going to give you 4 importance of carbohydrate. Number 1, carbohydrate provide the body with energy. The energy needed by the body to carry out metabolic activities is provided from carbohydrate. If you could recall in our discussions when we were looking at respiration, we said that glucose is broken down by a series of chemical reactions controlled by enzymes in order to release energy. And we said that is the definition for respiration. So there must be a presence, or there must be an involvement of glucose for energy to be released, okay? Energy to be released. So that glucose comes from carbohydrates. So that's one of the importance of carbohydrates, is to provide the body with energy. Number 2 is that it provides the body with heat during oxidation. Now, most times when these food substances like the carbohydrates are broken down, heat is most times released, evolved. So it provides the body with heat. Number 3 is that it provides the body with support, rigidity, and shape. Now, one of the examples of carbohydrate is chitin. And if you could recall, when we talked about tissues and supporting systems, we said that the chitin, or the cortical, which is an exoskeleton, is made up of chitin. So if chitin is a part of an exoskeleton, and of course we know that the skeleton, one of the functions of the skeleton is to provide support, give rigidity and shape to the body. Therefore, one of the importance of carbohydrate is also to provide support, give rigidity and shape to the body. And then finally, one of the importance of carbohydrates is that carbohydrate serves as an important lubricant in the body. An example is the mucus we have inside in your nostrils and all that. The mucus is an example of carbohydrates, and it is very much important in lubrication. All right. Now, the second type of class of food we're going to be talking about is proteins. Proteins. Now, the simplest form of proteins, remember we said the simplest form of carbohydrates is glucose. The simplest form of proteins is the amino acids. The amino acids. Now, amino acids or proteins, they consist of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, and sometimes phosphorus and sulfur. Okay? Now, examples of foods that are rich in proteins include the egg. We have beans, we have soya beans, we have fish, we have milk, we have granules, and so on, meats. These are foods that are rich in proteins. Now, please take note, deficiency of protein in your diet can lead to what we call kwashiorkor. It can lead to kwashiorkor as well as marasmus. Okay? Now, look at some of the importance of proteins. Importance of proteins. We're looking at three importance of proteins. Number one is that proteins helps to repair worn out tissues of the body. They help in the repair of worn out tissues of the body. Number two is that they help to build up the cells and tissues. They help in the building up of the cells of the body and also in tissue formation. So they help in growth as well as development, because as the cells are being built up, building up of the cells talks about growth. Building up of the tissues talks about growth. So in other words, one other importance of proteins is it promotes growth and development of the body. And then finally, number three, it is used for the production of enzymes and hormones. In this same topic or in this same class or lesson, animal nutrition, we will be talking about enzymes. So you're going to see what enzymes are. But for now, note this and remember this, that proteins can be used, or proteins help in the synthesis or production of enzymes and hormones. Number three class of food is fats and oils. Fats and oils. Now, another name for fats and oils is called lipids. Another name for fats and oils is lipids. Now, fats and oils are actually made up of carbon, hydrogen, and a little oxygen. So they are made up of carbon, hydrogen, and a little oxygen. Now, the simplest form of fats and oils are fatty acids and glycerol. Fatty acids, let's put it that way. The simplest form of fats and oils are fatty acids. Now, fats are solids at room temperature, while oils are liquids at room temperature. Examples of foods that are rich in fats and oils include, we have palm oil, we have the granite oil, we have melon, we have cheese, we have butter, we have margarine, etc. All these foods, even to an extent meats, there are some meats that are rich in fats and oils. These are some of the examples of foods rich in fats and oils. Now let's take a look at some of the importance of fats and oils. Importance of fats and oils. Now I want to make you understand this. Please understand this. Fats and oils provide, in fact, it is the class of food that provides the highest amount of energy. Please take note of this. Fats and oils is the class of food that provides the highest amount of energy, not carbohydrates. Fats and oils provide high amount of energy than carbohydrate. Number two functions or importance of fats and oils is that it provides the body with what we call fat-soluble vitamins. It provides the body with fat-soluble vitamins. We're going to be talking about that much more later. Number three, it provides the body with essential fatty acids. And then finally, number 4, it helps in the maintenance of body temperature. So it serves as an insulator. It helps to maintain body temperature. Now, moving to number 4, or the 4th class of food, and that is minerals. Minerals. Now, minerals are actually elements, if I may put them this way. They are elements that are essential to keep the body healthy and develop properly. They are essential elements, important elements. They can be required in small quantities. They can also be required in large quantities, depending on the body. Okay? Now, these elements include things like we have sodium, we have calcium, we have phosphorus, we have magnesium, we have chlorine, we have iodine, manganese, copper, oxygen. All these are essential elements required by cells for proper growth and development, or healthy development. Now, there are some foods that are rich in minerals. Now, foods that are rich in minerals include cheese, milk, egg, fruits, mostly, okay, fruits, seafoods, very important, vegetables, green vegetables, meat, fish, table salts, and so on. All these foods are rich in minerals, Now, let's take a look at some of the importance of minerals. Now, importance of minerals: 1, it helps in the formation and development of bones and teeth. An example of the mineral element required for this is mostly calcium and fluorine. Calcium and fluorine. And that's why you see in your toothpaste, you have toothpaste that has fluoride and also calcium. They help in development of strong bones and teeth. Number 2 importance of minerals is that it helps in the formation of hemoglobin in the red blood cell. The hemoglobin is a part of the red blood cell. In fact, it is the pigment that makes the blood red. Okay, it is found in the red blood cell. It has a very strong affinity for oxygen. It helps actually in the transportation of oxygen from the lungs to other parts of the body where oxygen is actually needed. But take note that the minerals are very important. Minerals, essential elements, are important in the formation of hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is gotten from iron. Hemoglobin are mainly iron compounds. They are iron compounds. So you see, it's very, very important that you eat foods that are rich in iron. Number 3, it helps in the maintenance of osmotic balance of the cell. Number 4, it helps for respiration. Number 5, it also helps for transmission of impulse in the nerves. Okay, so these are some of the importance of minerals. Let's move to the next one, which is number 5. Number 5 is vitamins. Vitamins. Now, some examples of foods that are rich in vitamins. I'm coming to some things I wanted to say. Some foods that are rich in vitamins includes the walnuts. We have banana, we have raspberry, we have almond, we have the egg, we have kidney, we have fish, we have fresh vegetables. These foods are rich in vitamins. Now, we have different types of vitamins. We have what we call vitamin A, we have vitamin B, we have vitamin C, we have vitamin D, we have vitamin E, and then we have vitamin K. 6 types of vitamins. Now, deficiency in most of these vitamins has a very great repercussion in our health or in the body. Now, for instance, deficiency of vitamin A causes what we call night blindness. Deficiency of vitamin B causes what we call beriberi. Deficiency of vitamin C causes what we call scurvy. Deficiency of vitamin D causes what we call ricket or osteomalacia. Deficiency of vitamin E causes sterility, inability to give rise to children or give birth to children. And deficiency of vitamin K causes what we call hemophilia or hemorrhage. Hemophilia or hemorrhage is simply the inability of the platelets of the platelets to clot blood, or inability of the blood to clot. So the person keeps bleeding. The clotting of the blood helps to stop bleeding to an extent, and also help to prevent microorganisms from entering into the body through the cut or wound. So when someone suffers from hemophilia, the person has a blood issue, okay? Just like in the Bible, they called it the woman with the issue of blood, all right? Now, we also have what we call classes of vitamins. Classes of vitamins. Now, these types of vitamins mentioned can be grouped into two main classes. We have the first one, which we call fat-soluble vitamins. Now, why do we call them fat-soluble vitamins? They are called fat-soluble vitamins because they can be dissolved. They are soluble in fats. These are vitamins that are soluble in fats, and they include vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin E, and K. A, D, E, and K vitamins. They are fat-soluble vitamins. Then we have the second one, which is called water-soluble vitamins. Now, water-soluble vitamins are vitamins that are soluble in water. Soluble in water. And there are just two vitamins found in this class. That is vitamin B and then vitamin C. Now, let's take a look at some of the importance of vitamins. Vitamins are very important. Now, one of the importance is that it is required for normal growth of the body cells and skin. Very important. It aids in the formation of coenzymes. Number 3, it gives proper vision to the eyes. Remember vitamin A. Also, it aids wound healing. It also helps to resist infection, aids in the clotting of blood, and also promotes fertility in animals. These are some of the importance of vitamins. Number 6 is water. Water is also a class of food. Now, water is made up of hydrogen and oxygen in the ratio 2:1. Now, there are several sources of water. We have rivers, we have lakes, we have taps, we have rain, we have ponds, and so many others. Sea, ocean, these are several sources of water. Now, quickly, let's move to the importance of water. Water is so important. Some persons feel since it is so common, it has little significance or importance to life, or significance or importance to the body. Water is actually very important. Now let's look at a few of them. It is required for digestion of food. So for you to have your food to be properly digested, water needs to be involved. Number 2, it is necessary for metabolic activities in the body. Necessary for metabolic activities in the body. Number 3, it helps to maintain body temperature. It helps to maintain body temperature. Number 4, it helps to maintain osmotic content of the tissues. Number 5, it acts as a medium of transportation for nutrients. Number 6, it aids the excretion of metabolic waste product. And then finally, it is the basis of body secretion from the endocrine gland. So these are some of the importance of water. Final class of food is the roughages. Roughages. Now, roughages are actually is also a class of food, but in this class of food, it consists of indigestible fiber materials, which come mostly, their sources are mostly from fruits, vegetables, carbohydrates, and proteins. Now, what are the importance of roughages? 1, roughages helps to stimulate the bowels. Stimulate the bowels. Makes you feel like visiting the loo or the small room and all that. Stimulates your bowels. Now, if you lack roughage in your diet, there are several repercussions. It will lead to constipation. So most persons that are having constipation, it is simply based on the lack of roughages in your diet. So these are the classes of food. Now moving to balanced diet. What is a balanced diet? A balanced diet is actually a diet that contains all the 6 classes of food, not 7, but all the 6 classes of food in their right proportion required by living organisms. All the 6 classes of food required by animals. All the 6 classes of food in their right proportion. Now, there are some importance of balanced diet. It is important. Number 1, it helps to resist diseases. It helps in disease resistance, thereby keeping us healthy. Number 2, it helps us in growth and development, normal, healthy growth and development. Number 3, it helps also to provide the body with energy to carry out metabolic activities. All right? All right, now let's take a look at dentition. Dentition. Now, dentition can simply be defined as the numbering, arrangement, and conformation of teeth in the mouth of an animal. Numbering, arrangement, and conformation of teeth in the mouth of an animal or an organism. Now, we have different types or 2 main types of dentition, which are homodont dentition, heterodont dentition. Homodont, as the name implies, homo, it simply means the same. So, homodont dentition is a type of dentition in which the teeth are of the same size, they are of the same shape, and they carry out the same function. The same size, shape, and carry out the same function. Now, you can see and observe homodont dentition in fish, which is Pisces. You can also see it in amphibians and also in reptiles. You see homodont dentition there. Now, the second type of dentition is heterodont dentition. Now, this is a type of dentition in which the teeth are of different shape, different size, and they carry out different functions. Now, you can see an example of that type of dentition in mammals. Now, let's take a look. Since we're discussing about teeth, let's look at the structure of the mammalian tooth. The structure. Now, the mammalian tooth is divided into 2 main groups, 2 main parts rather. We have, in some books, you see 3 parts. We have the crown, the neck, and the root. The neck is just simply a junction between the crown and the root. Now, the crown is the part you see that is visible, okay? It consists of the enamel and the dentine. The enamel is the white part you see, okay? And then the dentine is inside of the enamel. Then we have the root. Inside of the root, we have the nerve and blood vessels. We also have the pulp cavity. We have the jaw bones and so many other things, cement, that is also found inside the root of a mammalian tooth. So we have the crown. The crown consists of the enamel and also the dentine. In the root, we have the pulp cavity, which is made up of connective tissues, sensory nerves, blood capillaries. We also have the cement. We also have the jaw bones. So these are found in the root of the structure of a tooth. Now, we have what we call sets of teeth. In mammals, we have 2 sets of teeth. We have the milk teeth, and then we have the permanent teeth. Milk teeth, permanent teeth. Now, milk teeth is a set of teeth that can be replaced when they fall off. They can be replaced by a permanent teeth when they fall off. Now, the milk teeth are mostly found in very young mammals, so they can be replaced. That set of teeth consists of incisor, canine, and premolar, all right? But the permanent teeth is a set of teeth, or these are sets of teeth that when they fall off, they cannot be replaced. When they fall off, cannot be replaced. Permanent teeth are only found in adult mammals, mostly in terms of humans, adult humans, okay? Now, the teeth include the incisor, the canine, the premolar, and then the molar. Now, that brings us to types of teeth in mammals. We have about 4 types of teeth. As you can see in the structure there, we have the premolars, we have the incisor, which is the first one, located in front. The incisor is located in the front, And and if you look at this, it's chisel shape. It is mainly used for cutting of food or gripping food, okay? The incisor. Then we have the next one after the incisor, we have the canine. In most mammals, it is pointy and sharp. It is for tearing of flesh, okay? Tearing of flesh from bones and all that. Then we have the premolar and the molar. They have flat surfaces. And these flat surfaces, it is also modified for grinding and chewing of food. Grinding and chewing of food. The incisor for cutting and holding food. The canine for tearing of fleshy food from bones. And then the premolars and the molars are for grinding and chewing. So these are the types of teeth in mammals. Now that brings us to dental formula. Now we're going to be looking at, remember when we started, we talked about herbivores, carnivores, and omnivores. Now, dental formula for man. Man has 32 types of teeth. The number of teeth in man is 32. And this is how it is. The incisor is 2 in the upper jaw and 2 on the lower jaw. This is on one part of the teeth. That is, if you're sharing or dividing the teeth into 2 equal halves. When you divide the teeth into 2 equal halves, one half, the upper jaw of one half and the lower jaw of one half should have the incisor to be 2/2. The canine is 1/1, that is upper and lower. The premolars is 2/2, which is upper and lower, and the molar is 3/3. If you calculate all this, you add up all this, and multiply it by 2, you're going to get a total of 32 sets of number of teeth in an adult man. Also in a dog, we have it as 42, as you can see in the formula. And then in rabbits, which is a herbivore, you have it as 28. Now, take note of what happens in the rabbits, which is a herbivore. There is an absence of canine. And we're going to be looking at why there is an absence of canine. Now that brings us to some modifications that are found in mammals, mostly in the carnivores as well as in the herbivores. There are little modifications. In that of the carnivores, there is a particular type of teeth which we call the carnassial teeth. Now the carnassial teeth is formed between the last premolar in the upper jaw and the first molar in the lower jaw. As you can see on the screen there, last premolar in the upper jaw and the first molar in the lower jaw, they form the carnassial teeth. Now the carnassial teeth is used to cut up meat and tear it away from bones. It is also used for cracking of bones by most carnivores. The carnivores use them to tear out flesh from bones and also to crack bones. And then we'll have the next modification of teeth in the mouth, mostly in herbivore. We have that modification called diastema. Now, if you go back to the dental formula of the rabbit, you will discover that there was an absence of canine. Now, that absence of canine is called diastema. Absence of canine is called diastema. Now, diastema helps the organism or the animal or mammal to manipulate grasses in their mouth. Helps in the manipulation of grasses in the mouth. And then enzymes. Enzymes. Now, if you could remember when we were discussing proteins as a class of food, we said that proteins, one of their importance is in the synthesis or production of enzymes and hormones. Now, what actually are enzymes? Now, enzymes are organic catalysts which promote or speed up chemical changes in cells, because there are always reactions that takes place in the cells. So they speed up these reactions or promote these reactions, but they are not used up at the end of the process. They are not used up at the end of the process. You can see on the screen there, we have enzymes as catalysts. You can see the enzyme binding to a substrate. The enzyme binding to a substrate. Now, we have two types of enzymes. We have what we call intracellular enzymes and we have extracellular enzymes. Now, intracellular enzymes are enzymes that carry out their function inside the cell. Inside the cell. An example is the enzyme that is responsible for cellular respiration. Remember, it is inside the cell that cellular respiration takes place, which is inside the cytoplasm and also inside the mitochondria. These are organelles inside the cells. So respiratory enzymes are examples of intracellular enzymes, while extracellular enzymes are enzymes that carry out their functions outside the cell. An example of extracellular enzyme is the digestive enzyme. When we start discussing digestive system, we're going to be looking at some of the digestive enzymes like the thiolene, the sucrase, the trypsin, the amylase, and so on. We're going to see what they do in digestion, or how they play the role of digestion. Okay, but for now, understand that digestive enzymes, an example of a digestive enzyme is an example of the extracellular enzyme is digestive enzyme. Finally, characteristics of enzymes. Characteristics of enzymes. I'm going to mention just few, but there are so many characteristics of enzyme. Number one, note this, that enzymes are proteins in nature. Remember, we said that protein synthesizes enzymes. So enzymes are proteins in nature. Enzymes also work best at specific pH. There are some enzymes that work best if the environment is acidic, and there are some that work best if the environment is an alkaline environment. Then number three, enzymes can be destroyed by high temperature. They can be destroyed by high temperature. Number four, enzymes are required in small quantities. They are required in small quantities. So this is how far we can take on characteristics of enzymes. Now quickly, let's take a look at just one or two questions in our Examguide app. All right, very quickly, two questions. We have so many of them, about 20 here, but please let's just take about two. Question one, look at this. Night blindness results from a deficiency of. Remember when we were talking about vitamins, types of vitamins, I mentioned to you about the deficiency of each of these vitamins. Option A said vitamin C. No, the deficiency of vitamin C is scurvy. The option B says vitamin A, which is correct. The deficiency of vitamin A is night blindness. Option C is vitamin K. Deficiency of vitamin K is hemophilia or hemorrhage. And then option D is vitamin E, and deficiency of vitamin E is sterility or infertility. Let's look at the second question. Okay, this one talks about enzymes, more on enzymes. Okay, look at question 4. Which of the following is lacking in the diet of a person with kwashiorkor? A person with kwashiorkor. The correct option there is proteins. When a person lacks protein, or person's diet is deficient in protein, it will result to the disease called kwashiorkor. Thank you for participating in today's class. You can practice more questions using your Examguide app. The app scores and gives a detailed explanation of all the questions at the end of your practice test. You can also learn particular topics of interest with different modes like study mode, mock mode, and even practice mode. It also has other features that makes learning very fun. Now, it is a must for all serious students. Download from www.examguide.com if you don't have it yet. See you in the next class. Don't forget to subscribe to our channels, hit the notification bell, and share the videos to your loved ones and friends that will benefit from it. Bye for now.